Hi, my name is Mindy, and I have lost over 125 pounds on Wegovy, Mounjaro, semaglutide compound, and I am now back on Wegovy again. Today I want to talk about the difference between nutritionists and dietitians and who you would be better served talking to about your health journey. If that sounds interesting to you, be sure to give this video a like. Say hi to me down in the comments and let me know if you have had an experience with a nutritionist, life coach, macro coach, or a registered dietitian, and let's get into it. So the first thing I wanted to talk about in regard to nutritionists versus dietitian is the education that's required in order to become one of those things. As far as nutritionists go, depending on the state, there is actually no legal requirement to call yourself a nutritionist, nutrition coach, macro coach, etc. In regard to a dietitian, registered dietitian, RD, RDN, if you see any of those kind of acronyms after someone's name, at a minimum, they have to have a bachelor's degree in nutrition from an institution that has been accredited by the Accreditation Council for Education and Nutrition and Dietetics, or ASCEND. They must receive a verification statement from a dietetic program in dietetics. They also have to have 1,200 hours of an internship under the supervision of a licensed professional in combination with an undergraduate or graduate degree. Sorry guys, my dog decided that right now would be the optimal time to start eating his chew toy. Then and only then are students eligible to sit for the Commission on Dietetic Registration exam. Starting in 2024, a graduate degree will actually be required to even sit for the exam. So anyone prior to this year could have a bachelor's degree, but this year and going forward, a graduate degree. So they have to have a master's in nutrition in order to even sit for the exam to become a registered dietitian. Some states have additional licensing requirements beyond that, but that's the minimum across the board in the United States. Registered dietitians are also required to complete continued education in order to maintain their license. So what does that mean for the work that they're actually able to do? For nutritionists, it varies from state to state. However, in most states, nutritionists cannot legally provide nutrition counseling, and in all states, they're not allowed to diagnose or treat medical conditions via diet. Many states do not allow reimbursement from insurance if you seek nutrition counseling from a nutritionist. Most states prohibit nutrition counseling at all unless a nutritionist obtains a license. And many states don't allow nutritionists to provide nutrition counseling regardless. That has to be done by a registered dietitian. For dietitians, they can help diagnose and treat illnesses and medical conditions. They often help people with eating disorders, with substance abuse or medical conditions that have symptoms that can be improved or managed with a specific diet or meal planning. Only registered dietitians can be involved in diagnosing and treating medical conditions, which is known as medical nutrition therapy. I know the thumbnail on this video was kind of clickbaity, and you're probably wondering why I would call a nutritionist a scammer. With the prevalence of social media and the explosion of people that needed to find an alternative income source during the pandemic, we suddenly saw a huge surge of nutrition, macro, life coach, weight loss coaches. Like, they were just all over the place, at least in my algorithm. If you spend 2 minutes on Instagram, you're gonna find somebody offering some sort of nutrition or weight loss coaching. So in most states, there's actually no regulation for these titles, and there's no licensing or certification requirements. And that means, in short, anyone can use these titles and charge for their services without any qualifications aside from their own life experience and personal research. It's really rare to see any of these self-proclaimed professionals offer a disclaimer of any kind, advertising that they haven't received any professional training in the area that they're offering their expertise, and they aren't qualified to be much more than a glorified cheerleader. And if that's all you need, that's awesome. What really bothers me is the total lack of transparency. So I wanted to kind of give you some ideas in terms of how to spot somebody that's maybe not super qualified to be offering the kind of advice that they might be offering. Anyone that's telling you to cut out whole groups of food or speaking in generalities as if every diet works for every person. So in other words, somebody that's saying everyone should eat low carb or everyone should eat keto or carbs are bad for you. Anyone that is speaking in broad generalizations like that in terms of eliminating foods from your diet, that should be a red flag for you. Anyone who doesn't give medical facts to back up their advice with studies that they can cite to support their claims, I would be leery of as well. Those are some things to watch out for, but things that I would consider to be green flags would be the ever popular with most registered dietitians, eat what you want, add what you need mentality. I'm sure you've probably seen videos like this before where they say, hi, my name is so-and-so and I'm a registered dietitian and this is what I recommend for blah, blah, blah. And a lot of times they'll talk about, the eat what you want, add what you need. So instead of eliminating whatever unhealthy treat here, they say, okay, so go ahead and eat the cookie, but add some vanilla Greek yogurt to add some protein and some chia or hemp seeds to add some crunch and fiber to help make you feel full longer and some nutrition and blah, 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 blah. Like you'll see a lot of those videos out there, things like that, major green flag, because they're showing you how to, rather than restrict your diet, they're showing you how to take a craving for something that often can't be satisfied by anything other than that thing. And they're finding a way to make it more filling, more nutritious, and adding some actual value rather than just the empty calories of whatever treat it is. The other thing that I would consider to be a green flag from a registered dietitian or even someone calling themselves a nutritionist would be a disclaimer saying, here's my advice, but it may not work for everybody, because nothing is universal, right? Even the advice that I give on my channel, this is just from my own personal experience. This is what has worked for me. And you may find it helpful in your own journey, but I'm definitely not saying that this is the only way to do things. In fact, I would consider anyone saying this is the way you have to do something to be a major red flag, as I mentioned before. So the other thing you might be asking yourself is, well, why shouldn't I just ask my doctor for nutrition advice? With everything that doctors have to learn in medical school, there is very little, if any, emphasis put on nutrition as part of their standard curriculum. It's offered as elective classes and things like that, but most doctors are so overwhelmed with what they have to learn just as part of the general curriculum that they're not trying to take extra classes. According to the National Library of Medicine, an average of only 21 hours out of all the years that they go to school, 21 hours of nutrition are taught as part of required curricula in U.S. medical schools. But the range is between 3 hours and 56 hours. And that isn't necessarily dedicated nutrition training. In fact, the doctors that they surveyed, most of them said that they weren't even aware that the curricula that they were going over was considered to be nutrition curriculum. So it's a very, very loose term. More than half of the schools in the U.S. provide less than 20 hours of nutrition training as part of the standard curricula to become a doctor. I've heard stories from subscribers and support groups about doctors advising their patients on these GLP meds to only eat if they're hungry. That is terrible advice for someone on a medication that suppresses hunger cues. In the beginning, when I started these meds, if I only ate when I was hungry, I would have had a hard time even eating 500 calories a day. Even when you're obese or morbidly obese, as I was when I started this journey, your body still has basic nutritional needs. It has basic caloric requirements in order to run its basic body functions. If you have a doctor, nutrition coach, anybody telling you that you should only eat if you're hungry while you're on a medicine that tells you that you're not hungry, that's a concern. You should be eating a minimum number of calories a day. So what does this mean? Firstly, I just want to make it clear that I'm not saying that all nutritionists or coaches are scam artists, or there aren't any nutritionists with valid nutritional advice to provide to their patients. What I am saying is that if you're someone with an eating disorder, PCOS, diabetes, or in general have concerns about your diet as it relates to a specific health concern, you would be much better served by speaking with a registered dietitian. Like in any field, you need to do your research. Just because someone has a degree or certification doesn't make them good at what they do or make them the right person for you to talk to. I have fired enough doctors during this journey who are qualified medical people to know that not all medical professionals are created equal. Ultimately, You are the one that's in control of your medical treatment. And if you don't jive with someone, there is absolutely nothing wrong with finding someone else for you to meet with. Now, I know that not all insurances will cover meeting with a registered dietitian, and with their level of education, obviously they're usually going to be more expensive to talk to. So if you can't afford to meet with a registered dietitian specifically about your situation, I do have a list of RDNs that I follow on social media who give some fantastic general advice and suggestions for eating more nutritiously. And so I will include a list of those down below if you guys are curious. I know that this is kind of a short video, and it's something that some of you have been asking me about for a while, since I asked if you were curious about the differences between a nutritionist and a registered dietitian. A lot of you didn't even realize that there was a difference, or that there was someone who was specifically trained to help you with your diet as it relates to a medical condition. I thought that this would be a really important video for some people if you're looking for some guidance that's specifically geared towards your medical condition and your own specific health journey. You would definitely do well with speaking with a registered dietitian. I wanted to again thank my Taco Club members for all of your support. I would not be able to continue to make these videos without you guys. If you are interested in supporting my content, I do have a Buy Me a Coffee page linked down in the description where you can check out my different membership tiers. I send out a weekly meal plan with ideas and recipes that are available for you as part of a high protein diet. It's just the meal plan that I use, that I follow on a weekly basis. So if that's something that you think you would find helpful, definitely check it out. My members also get free access to all of my recipe cards that I have in a 4x6 and 8.5x11 format. And they also get discounts on other tools and things like that that I put out. Thank you so much for being here. The easiest way for you to support my content is to like my videos and to just drop a comment down below, say hi. It really does help with the algorithm, and it helps to grow my channel and distribute my videos to more people. If you have any questions, please definitely let me know down in the comments. I am happy to respond. I do my best to try and respond to every comment I receive. And I think that's it for this video. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.
We're on a journey, looking back on the things that we've taken for granted, but feels like we're learning to be better without what's been holding